Welcome to STH English. Two big statements. One, an interview to CNN by the Qatari Prime Minister. What an amazing interview. What an insightful interview. And I would strongly recommend to all of you to do watch it. It's about 22 minutes long. In that interview, of course, you have on a side strange incidents take place as well. Becky's phone starts to go abuzz and she kind of, chokes up with a sore throat and all that. But if you were to look at the interview substance and the way the Qatari Prime Minister spoke, it is unbelievable how clear-headed he is and how diplomatically savvy he is. His main thrust tells you where Israel stands vis-a-vis the Gulf countries, where Israel stands vis-a-vis the most important region of the world that happens to be the Middle East, and what is the expectation level of the Gulf countries from those who stand with them. It gives you a completely different and new outlook on the world. You could argue, for instance, that the Qatari Prime Minister was far more tactful than he was expected to be when it came to the US. But remember, right now the focus is not the US for the Middle East. The focus is what to do with Netanyahu and how to characterize and describe Netanyahu and how to create a new regional security architecture which will create a buffer against Netanyahu's blatant and unbridled violation of any segment of international law that restrains any country or any individual from using violence at will and as a policy tool. That seems to be the focus. So the Qatari Prime Minister also shared remarkable information. For instance, he shared the information that the Israelis themselves had been instrumental in creating this Hamas office in Doha, and how repeated Israeli governments, not just this government by Netanyahu, but at least two of his predecessors, and before that he himself, were fundamental in creating this office, and how the Israeli intelligence agencies were all involved in it, and how the Israelis would come here and negotiate via Qatar with Hamas, and how the Egyptians and the Turks and Israelis and the Americans were all involved in engaging Hamas, and how this information that was the basis of the meeting that Hamas negotiations team was having and or not having at that particular point in time when the attack took place, was triggered by Trump administration's policy initiative. And the Qatari Prime Minister used the word paper. So the Americans actually submitted a paper to Qatar, which was passed on to Hamas to discuss how to defuse this crisis. But Netanyahu, 1.5 hours before the eventual Hamas stand was to shape up, attacked and created this completely new situation. So it's an amazing interview. The other statement that I would strongly recommend you to watch is our ambassador to the UN, Ambassador Iftikhar's statement at the UN, where the Israelis were also present, and a resolution was also passed by the UN Security Council condemning the attack on Doha. It again is one of the most well-articulated and to the point and in-your-face kind of a statement that I've heard from any ambassador at the forum. Ambassador Iftikhar was absolutely spot on, describing Israel as a rogue state. He narrated Israel's series of crime and called Israel a serial violator of international law, brought to the fore all the laws that Israel violated, brought to the fore all the reports that Israel discarded that condemned Israel's deliberate starvation of Gazan children and the mayhem and barbarism it is perpetrating there. So it's a statement that did not pull back any punches and laid straight into where it needed to be laid into. The Israelis are now trying to create false analogies between Osama bin Laden getting killed on Pakistani soil by the Americans and Hamas negotiating team being attacked in Doha. Nothing can be further from the truth when it comes to the authenticity of this analogy. Osama bin Laden was a wanted terrorist. who was moving into different countries. He was at one point in time the lion of jihad that Americans funded. He was the front runner, or some would call him the then blade runner, for the Americans to slay the aliens that Russians had become for them in Afghanistan. He was funded and bankrolled by all the world's agencies, including, by the way, some say, with the Israeli support. So Osama bin Laden was not a member of a negotiating team who was sitting in Abbottabad on behalf of the Americans, on behalf of the Israelis, and was given the opportunity to mediate between the remains of Al-Qaeda with the rest of the world. No, he was not. He was a fugitive. He got killed on Pakistani soil. But remember, 9/11, if you want to talk about 9/11, just go back into history and see where the 9/11 perpetrators were trained. Where did they get their licenses from? Where did they board the planes? And which European country was their post of learning and gathering intelligence as far as this operation was concerned, and whose nationalities did they carry? And you would find an amazing global hypocrisy when it comes to defining the last days of Osama bin Laden and showcasing his killing as if he was a Pakistani prodigy or Pakistani product. He was not. But this kind of a logic or reading of factual history is lost on Israel. So they create these false analogies and did killing of Osama bin Laden on Pakistani soil, to which Pakistan responded very, very firmly. And the range of reactions from Pakistan were baffling, even for people like us who had seen big events take place, and yet Pakistani state not really going beyond a certain line. But after OBL, I can tell you, Pakistan took on Washington like Pakistan had never done before. But leaving that aside, OBL getting killed on Pakistani soil, does it justify killing 62,000 people in Palestine? Does it justify starving 5,000 children? Does it justify killing 22,000 children? Does it justify uprooting and dismantling 2 million people? Does it justify creating what the British Prime Minister of all the people say, man-made famine? It doesn't justify any of those things. So Israel creates these fake justifications, creates these delusional analogies, and tries to wade its way through a maze of condemnation, and tries to come across as a civilized country. So Pakistan really nailed it. You need to see this statement. The consequences of that are going to be massive. Qataris are talking about holding an Arab/Islamic summit in the days ahead. Pakistan's Prime Minister has returned from Qatar, and Pakistan will be at the centerpiece of this debate about how to deal with Israel. Interestingly, one person or one country that you would not find really getting deeply engaged in this debate happens to be Modi and India. They are now trying to create some kind of a delicate balance between the love of their life, Israel, and their engagement with the Gulf countries. And this balance is not going to be maintainable because Gulf has changed, sentiments have changed. Qatari Prime Minister's interview was a lot of information, was a lot of clarity, but more than that, it was a lot of emotion as well, a sense of betrayal. And as far as Israel is concerned, everybody knows that it's a rogue state. So Indians would be trying to balance really, or mix water and oil, or let me say blood of the Palestinians with the strategic ties with Israel. So while the world is changing as far as Israel's take is concerned, Indians are trying to somehow stay neutral. But after you hear the debate in the Security Council and hear Pakistan's statement and hear Qatari Emir speak, or the UAE statement, or what the Saudis are saying and thinking, what even the Omanis and Bahrain are talking about, you would find that there's no neutrality when it comes to Israel. Israel is defined, as far as the Islamic world is concerned, and all other civilized countries are concerned, to be a rogue state. And any country that does not see Israel is that happens to be conniving at Israel's roguery.